Hey everyone, welcome to season two, episode three of the WuhooPoints podcast. We've talked a lot about different credit cards and different credit card strategies, but I realize it's time to go down to the basics. Credit scores are very important to getting credit cards and other loans and stuff that we'll get into, but there's a lot of myths around that. And this is also Matt here with me. We connected over a small business Facebook group. I was on his podcast, so I asked him to return the favor. But we just want this discussion to be about credit scores, how credit cards affect it, the bigger picture, and to make sure we're all kind of look at things from the base level. But Matt, I'll let you introduce yourself.
It's Matt and Matthew. It's kind of funny.
At these, yeah.
It's the M squared credit show. It's like, what is this about? Credit
Exactly.
points. How credit works. You can use credit card points and not use them unwisely, but that's a whole different discussion. Yeah. So my name is also Matt. My company's called A1 Solutions Group, and we help people with fixing credit, but really what it is helping people to understand credit, how it works, because it follows for life that we can maintain it, and then knowing that, take advantage of what Matt does here and actually use it to use the points to get the rewards for being responsible and also I would say strategic with it. So
Yeah. So let's start again, very basic. What is a credit score? Why is it important?
right. So a credit score is simply a way to measure for another company, right, to see how well you have paid people, other companies back on time. Keep it real simple, right? And
Yeah.
it's literally a score. You can earn points, you can lose points. So treat it as a game, but literally, because if you think about it, if I were to come up to you and say, "Hey, I have a business. I make 1 million a year. I want a loan of like 4 million." And you're the bank, how would you be able to determine if I should get a loan or not? Wouldn't you want some record to show, all right, one, if I'm legitimate, but two, like, have I paid others back on time, someone on time, have been completely negligent? So that's really what it is.
Mhm.
And also another way of looking at it is it's also your how do my business partners say it? Your financial character or financial reputation.
So it's not a scam,
No, I don't know who would think it's a scam. I mean, actually, no, I get yeah, some people do, but it's
right?
not. It's actually, and I'll go here. Credit is nothing new. It's been around for over 5,000 years. So it's been used throughout history for different things. We think it's new, relatively new, because this is simply not taught.
Yeah. I see again on Instagram threads, but also forums. Oh, I did this thing. I paid off a mortgage, or I paid off my car, or my score went down 11 points. Credit scores is a scam. Like, help me clarify for these kind of people if you're even thinking that or seeing that. Like, how is it not a scam?
One, there's three different credit bureaus. If it was a scam, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be something that would be so important and I I guess the word so pervasive, I guess, in the society. You wouldn't hear about it so much.
Three
And
massive companies. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Not only that, but like it when you go to apply for an apartment, car loan, business loan, mortgage, it was scam. They wouldn't say, "Hey, what's your credit like?" They wouldn't ask that question. So it's a very real thing.
Mm-hmm.
What to help people understand is that when you do pay off your car loan or a mortgage, that's a good thing. You want to do that.
Yeah.
The reason why your score drops is because the algorithm is like, oh, the account's paid off in closing. So yes, it does go down. But since you paid it off successfully, one, your score will recover. Two, it'll notate down your credit report. So that way, when someone else looks at it, they're gonna go, "Oh, you paid for your mortgage. You paid this loan off successfully. That is a good thing."
Yeah. I want to reiterate that point. I think people just think again, when you apply for a loan or whatnot, the bank only looks at that number.
Oh
That's
no.
not necessarily true, right?
No. See that okay. That score you have, the credit score is made up of information that's on your credit report. So here's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
You can have two people with the same credit score, and for keep it simple, let's say they both at a 700.
Mm-hmm.
Yet person A gets declined and person B gets accepted. Why is that? Well, because person A may only have two counts on their profile, right? Two primary accounts. They're only let's say about 6 to 8 months old. So you can get declined for having a thin credit profile, meaning you only have 1 or 2 accounts, and also lack of credit history. Whereas person B, they have a 700, but they have, let's say 5, 7 accounts that have been open for like, let's say a minimum 2.5 years to like 5, 6, 7 years.
Mhm.
This is why it's called credit history and not so much as credit, because what companies like to see is your history.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this? The more years you have a positive credit, the better you look, the safer they feel, because you're saying, I'm responsible, I have the experience, I know what I'm doing. You can trust me with the money or whatever it is that you're applying
Yeah.
for.
So that's a good segue because history is one thing or one factor, right, of your
Yeah.
credit score, and that's not something that we can't really change that. I can't get older faster.
No, you
But
can't. I'm 50 years. Like, whoa, you slow down. Black credit, no, you yeah.
yeah, but what are some other important factors that you think people get wrong or need to consider again within the context of credit scores?
Yeah, so let's just start with how your credit score actually grows. Okay. It's 5 components. 35% is payment history, also known as paying your bills on time. Everyone knows that. After that, it gets blurry. The
Hmm.
next chunk is credit utilization. That's 30%. That looks at, okay, how many credit cards you have. Do you have 1 or 20? Or are you going above 30% of the credit limit on all of them, or keeping it low? Because it looks at your credit usage on all the cards individually and also combined.
Hmm.
Then next chunk is length of credit history. That's 15%. That adds up all the open accounts you have, gives you an average age. The older that age, the more points you get. Again, you can't rush it. That's just the nature of the beast. The
Yeah.
next chunk is having a mixed credit. That's 10%. That looks at, okay, what kind of accounts do you have? Do you have any installment accounts like a car loan, maybe student loans, or mortgage? Do you how much revolving credit do you have? Credit cards, lines of credit. Also, it also looks at now you have your rent being reported on your credit profile, utility payments, cell phone payments, and also streaming services can be reported on as well. So having a nice mix, that's 10%. The last component is new accounts. That's also 10%. Again, that's any new accounts you have open, and also hard inquiries. So that's how your score grows. So when your credit gets looked at, the algorithm factors it in, but lenders like to see all there's other things in there too as well.
Yeah. No, that's helpful for the overview. And obviously your business is helping people repair credit. Like, why does that happen? Why do people need help? And again, what do you do to help them? Obviously not
Yeah,
secret sauce, but generally, in case viewers want your help.
snap my fingers like Thanos and it all disappears. Our credit score is 0. You're welcome. Start over again and walk away.
We can make it go down for sure.
Yeah, I got it 0, but no passive on there. Don't get mad at me. No. So the biggest reason, like the vast majority of us in the United States, is that it's simply not taught. Like we're
Mhm.
taught some things about money. Credit is what I was taught about credit was actually, well, two things. I was taught it's important, but then I was also told that credit cards are evil, don't use it, which is contradictory, right?
Mhm.
So what do? You get your first credit card. Like everyone's done this. I did it. You get it. You're like, yeah, I got money. I'm gonna spend it, and you don't pay it back
Yeah.
because you're stupid at that age. and then you jack it up. So a lot of it's financial illiteracy, not being taught, not being responsible with it, and then what happens is you are whatever age, late 20s, 30s, 40s, now wanting to fix it and looking back at all the hole you dug yourself the damage and going, okay, how do I change this now?
Mm.
And what it is, again, it's one, sitting down with the client, looking at all 3 credit reports. So Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. You don't have one credit report, you have 3 different ones because 3 different bureaus.
Well, and then like the FICO and other like
Yeah, the FICO score,
subscores,
yeah.
so
Look at
many.
we look at your FICO scores, looking at all the different tiers of credit report, all the information to see where you're at, so I can educate you on one, how this works. Then two, looking at, okay, what are the negative counts that are on there, like hard inquiries to be disputed, late payments, collections, charge off, bankruptcies, repossessions, all that stuff. And also as well saying, continue to build on these accounts to raise your score. Or for some people, they have to add new credit to their name. Rebuild credit's fine. I say, hey, here's a an email. I love it gives them a list of credit builders so they can start rebuilding credit, their name, or their score, while stuff gets deleted to have a healthier credit score and eventually better credit history.
Yeah. And then how did you get into this? Like, why do you want to help people do this? You know, what motivates you to do this every day, meet with these clients, help them?
I joke. I would say you don't choose credit repair, it ends up choosing you. Because it's true.
Oh
I
no.
mean, who in the world, think about it, man, like anyone listening is like, who in the world have you heard growing up say, I can't wait to help people fix their credit? No one said
Not
that.
me. I haven't heard that.
No, because like again, it's not taught, so you have no idea. So yeah, I ended up getting this because I jacked up my own credit and I like to sell and I'm also an entrepreneur. So I was like, wait, I can not only fix my own credit, but make some money with it and help other people and create an impact in their lives and be able to experience the joy of the helping someone go from, being at the bottom to, oh my God, I qualified the house, I got the 700. Like that's priceless.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. And I enjoy, I guess, also coaching people on it. Do this, do that. You need help here. Do this. Okay. Don't pay this. Here's why. You have you have rights. This man violated. Okay, let's do that. And just seeing and letting them know that like there is hope. There
Mhm.
is change. This thing, this number, this three number does not have to hold you back. It can change because you're control of it. You can change it and propel you forward to not just achieving your financial goals, but having the life you want ultimately too as well.
Yeah. I like what you just said because not the focus is not just the numbers going up, because I feel like there are these credit repair scams that's like, you pay us this much money, we'll give you an 800 score in a week. Like,
Oh, good
that's
God.
impossible, right? Like, I'm
No,
probably
not in a
exaggerating for
week.
some companies, but I do see, some of these shady companies that's marketing, oh, well, yeah, get you 850, 800 in such a short amount of time, but that's not how it works, right? And you are focusing on the relationship and the broader picture and the
Yeah.
behaviors.
Yeah, because it's a lifelong thing. Like credits, it doesn't stop being a factor in your life ever. It doesn't, unfortunately. And that's where, unfortunately, the industry, I'll be honest, it does do people a disservice. It's okay. It's my comparison is same thing with like liposuction. Like, does it work? Sure. People lose the weight, but what's the long-term results? Do they stay fit afterwards, or do they end up gaining the weight back and then more? Yeah, because you're not addressing how you got there in the first place. With credit repair, yeah, other companies will get your score up high and quick. Sure. The problem is, again, did they teach you anything how your house how credit works? Did they sit down with you and go and ask a hard question like,
Mhm.
how did you get here?
Yeah.
Because you don't change that, it's a band-aid in the day. And I've seen it, and it's just like you don't want to do that.
Yeah. And like obviously a lot of the issues come from people opening credit cards, as you mentioned, spending it as if it's not their own money, realize they can't pay it off. So obviously I'm into the credit card game.
Oh
How do
yeah,
you, I mean, obviously they're a big factor, but how do credit cards affect credit score? What are some ways they're helpful? And obviously, what are some dangers that we need to be aware of?
dangers of credit cards that because we're taught to just spend and consume. So
Mhm.
again, it's like all the spend, 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 and then people get themselves in a bunch of credit card debt, and then they're like, "What do I do? How do I get out of this?" Right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of understanding, like, all right, learning, understand the purpose of having a credit card and using it only for or, certain things, and that's it. And unfortunately, with the economy, people have had to live off the credit cards. I get that that's a different story. Okay, you're like trying to make it work like it's something, but um, a credit card is important because again, it's 30% of your score. But what people don't realize, and I've seen some other people, what happens is they'll say, "Oh, I pay all my credit cards," or they say, or they'll say, "Oh, I have no credit card yet." I'm like, okay, and then when I look on their file, their credit
Mhm.
report, they may have like installment loan, maybe one or two, or none, and I'm like, well, congratulations, you pay off all your installment loans. Or I'll say, okay, so all you have are installment loans. So what happens is as you pay those on time, you get points. As soon as you're done, which you want to pay it off,
Yeah.
it's no longer adding a score, so it doesn't build any history. Your score's gonna stagnate, and people go, "What?" I'm like, "Yes." The reason why the credit cards are important is because it's a revolving credit line. It doesn't close. It's
Mhm.
why it goes to your history. So the older the longer those credit cards stay open, the accounts do, over time, it adds to history, you get more points, and that's how you eventually get to the 700s and eventually into the 800s. You have to keep them open. If you
Yeah.
close them, you can lose 100 points more and then never get the points back. Also, I will say, if you have credit cards that you have not used in like 6 months or more, go use it and spend and buy something cheap, like a t-shirt, bag of chips, or some groceries. We're
Yeah.
not groceries right now, but something cheap. Why? Because what people don't realize that the creditor that you have they have the account with, they have to pay money to the bureaus to report your activity. So if they're spending money every month and you're not using it, they're like, they'll close it and won't tell you. And again, in that case, you can lose 100 points or more and never get those points back, and account's closed for life. And lenders don't like to see that. They like to see, you've had these accounts open for 7, 8, 10, 20 years. And I've also seen on people's credit reports where they've had a lot of credit cards over time, and the note that I tend to see is closed by credit grantor, closed by credit grantor, and I'm like, dang man, if you kept those open,
Yeah.
your score would be in a different in a different place.
Yeah, that's why I teach a lot of my recent grad clients, people just starting out with credit cards. Don't get a store credit card to start. Get a good, solid Discover or a reputable bank that doesn't have an annual fee, doesn't have
Yeah,
predatory charges, right? So you can keep that open forever. Versus, if I don't know, what's like a Sears card, right?
they
It,
still have those out now.
no, like if that was my first car, like
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
right, and then the company closes down and I can lose all that you know
History and
credit
points.
history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think about that. You're right, because they do close down, and you're like, SOL. What do you do?
Yeah. So I guess I have my son here, kind of as unexpected, but
It's all
this is
good.
a great example, right? Like right now, obviously he has no credit; he's an infant. But you're talking about financial literacy, which is important, to start from a young age. Not talking to infants because he can't even understand what you're saying right now. But let's say like more, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, or
Yeah.
just people, in college. We don't want them to make the first mistake, as you said. What are some pieces of advice you have for them, right now?
Yeah. So if you have been 18 and going to college, you want to start building your credit now. It's a very important, and it's you want to treat it as if you're investing into the stock market, because you are investing to yourself and your financial future with this. And for any parents listening to this, the one thing you can do, and for those of you smart teenagers here, you can go to your parents, and parents, you can do this. You can add them on as an authorized user to one of your credit cards, one, maybe two, that are in good standing, no late payments. You don't run the balance every month. Okay. They will send you a second credit card. You do not need to give them the second credit card. Okay. If you do, it's a conversation, an agreement on how they're going to use it and pay it back. Start building that financial habit. Other than that, if you don't trust them, you do not need to give them a card. After about a month of requesting them to be in AU, the account should appear on their file. You keep building it. Then once they really hit 18, honestly, or even college, they can then apply for other credit bills in their name, or even like apply for a credit card and use it. But it's a nice what's the word I want to use? Um
Like a head start?
yeah, thank you. Head start to get them going versus, hey, they 18. They still need to build accounts to their name, but it's a nice head start to give them that way. It's like, all right, cool. And companies will see that. They'll say, okay, this is your child. We understand you're not just some random person that had someone else on here and trying to give them a boost in score. So
Yeah. No, you've given a lot of good advice and tips. Before we end, though, wanted to ask: is there anything else that you think is very important that people should know that we haven't talked about, um, in this realm?
I would say this: the way to look at credit is not to see it as, oh my God, credit debt's bad. It is a tool that's been around for thousands of years to be leveraged and
Mhm.
to understand how to use it to further grow your business. You got a business, to also further use it to grow yourself financially, and also build wealth with it. Because if you use it properly to build wealth, it goes by a lot faster versus just trying to use cash. Again, using it properly, understanding it, you'll go by a lot faster. And that's what it's for, because that's what the wealthy do.
Yeah.
They're always using credit and other people's money to build their stuff up and then start using their wealth and assets to pay it back again. So just something to think about. A little further than just it's important. Let's think longer term and bigger.
Yeah, and I guess to respond to that too, right? Like I have credit limits, they're in the 5 digits. I'm never going to spend whatever the number is, like 60, 80K
Yeah,
all
no,
at
no.
once. Like,
Unless you find an opportunity that makes sense. Okay, great. But then you're like, nah, we're
yeah,
keeping it low.
if I know how I can leverage it, I know that understand the risks, maybe,
Yeah.
but I'm not putting 80K on like black in Vegas.
I've
Like
been with
that
you
would not
too.
be
I had a great week, and I'm like, okay, Matt, go for it.
plus cash advance fees, but yeah,
Exactly.
Uh, yeah, I agree. In the more advanced space with credit cards, there's a lot more you can do with credit to make money using the bank's money. But I don't. We will leave that for our clients to talk to us later about as they get the foundations.
That's our mastermind class coming soon.
Exactly. All right. Anything else you want to share, promote? Like where? Like what's your website? Obviously, I'll put it. I think either up
Yeah.
here, down here. But
Yeah.
website, social media. Where can we follow you and
I
stuff?
mean, I'm getting more active on LinkedIn. You look me at LinkedIn, Matthew Dillingham. Our website is www.a the number one, not spelled number one, A1 Solutions Group. Or if you want to speak to me directly, simply type in your web browser, your phone, speakwithmatt.info. Again, speakwithmatt.info. No need to put in the HW. Take you right to my calendar, set up a cool 30-minute call with me. Let's talk. Go from there.
Awesome. Well, I hope viewers that need help will reach out to you. But thank you for the time.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.